Hello everyone, welcome back. So in our Appium with Java series, today we are going to see how we can scroll on a list till a particular element is found, and this is pretty much applicable for a list or any kind of controls or the elements that you have, or even a different elements that is present, but then you want to search for a particular element, whether it is based on the text, value or any other properties, and then you have to scroll till the end to verify if the element is present or not. If once it is present, then you will stop the scrolling there and you can perform whatever actions you want to perform there. Okay, so let's get started. So if you would have seen in our previous session, right, we have isolated couple of driver actions like the driver instantiation and then setting and getting the driver objects, and then the util method to scroll and swipe method into a separate base package so that it will reduce lot of your code base actually there. Now the same concept we will be using, we will be using the existing concept. On top of that, we are putting a new feature, that is you need to scroll till the end and find the element there. So for an instance, I will be taking the same contact application which we were seeing in our previous session as well. So now if I go here, now this is the contact application. You don't really need to do anything when you open the simulator, but you have to add some names so that it can be scrollable. That is what I have done as a prerequisite. Okay, after adding the names, the second thing that we need to do is that we need to scroll to find certain elements. Now let's say that I want to scroll, let me put a bit more down, let's say trial. Okay, now this is where it is there, right? Now I need to keep on scrolling till I will get the trial as my option actually, and then if I want, I can click on this. Okay, that is what we are going to see. Now if you see that till this point we could able to scroll, but then it was an undefined scroll actually. You have simply put something actually like 50% or something, but you haven't particularly scrolled till some extent or something, right? That is what we are going to do. Some kind of expectation we are keeping after this scroll. Okay, now to do that, what I'm going to do into this util, I will be adding some methods actually there. Now let's say that I want to scroll till some element. So here this is simple scrolling only to some direction and then ratio. Now I will be utilizing the same concept of scroll but to extend the functionality. For that, let me put a public static and void, and I will say scroll, let's say that till I will be keeping something actually. So there are a lot of options actually in this. Now scroll till what actually? Till a particular text, right? So let's say that I want to take that string text actually. Now this till this particular text I want to scroll it, or sometimes let's say that you want to scroll till the element is found. So I can even have this option as well, scroll till, and this should be my web element actually there, web element or the mobile element or whatever it is there. So now here I will be keeping this web element. Don't worry, if you are keeping it as a web element, it shouldn't be a problem. It will be casting to the Appium element only, so you don't really need to worry about that. Okay, fine then. So now let me first put the stuff here into this scroll till some text. Now let me first identify or inspect what exactly these items are holding actually, the XPath or something on that. So for this I will be opening the Appium inspector, and then the iOS contact application, I have already set it up. These are the the bundle ID and all the other capabilities. I will do a start session, but before to that I need to run my Appium server, because Appium server is not yet running actually. So once the Appium server is running, I need to start the session so that I can identify these elements. Okay, fine. Now let me just click on any one of these elements and then try to find it out these things. Now you can see this is XQ element static text, and there is a label. Actually this label is nothing but this particular name, actually whatever the text that it is showing there. Now if you see here, this is what it is coming. What we can do sometimes, like let's say these are like what do you call, similar kind of elements, right? Like if I click on this, this is also XQ element, static text only. So based on a list I can traverse through and then I can click on that. It means that first thing I need to identify the entire list actually. Now if you see, this list is this one actually. On this list, if I put XQ element type cell, then I will be getting individual names. Let me show you that. So you can click on this search and then I will go for XPath. Now in Appium, you have to go with XPath only, like this list elements or everything wherever you are going. Though it is not recommended, but you should be, sometimes you should be using that. So if I keep this, right, now this is my what do you call, contacts view, contacts list view, right? So I will be building an XPath. You can see XQ element type other is my package name, and in that the attribute name is contact list view. You can see the name I'm putting. Now double slash, I am keeping this as XQ element type cell, because individual elements are treated as a cell. Now if I do a search, I should be getting multiple elements. You can see that now this is my first element. Now if I click, this is my second, this is my third, this is my fourth, like this it is coming. Even this AB also it is taking, no need to worry about that. So this particular XPath whatever I have taken, that is staying valid. So what I can do here, you know, I can take a list actually here, so that it would be easy for me to scroll that. Now I can take list of a web element, but I don't want to do that. I'll tell you why exactly we don't really need to do that. Instead of that, I will be taking a by. You can take Appium by or the normal by also. So I'll take the list items first and then the text what it is. Now the second thing is that, okay, let me just import this class. Now the third parameter I need, so this is my list item. From this list, which text I want to really go till which text I want to really, what do you call, scroll there actually. Now there is one more thing actually. If you see this, right, this is bit peculiar in Android and iOS. If you just go to this cell, right, you can see name, label, all these things are treated as your text actually, the text that I am adding here. But in case of your Android, right, the name will be there, there won't be a label actually there. You can have a text actually there, like text will be there. You can get it by using the get text or something, or sometimes in iOS you will get this as value actually. So different attributes will be there for this string actually, whichever we are displaying across Android and iOS. Now I can even further make it as more dynamic by adding another attribute, and that I will be sending as attribute name actually. Attribute name means on which attribute I need to work on. Different applications. Now in this name and label is there, but if you want to use some other of your application, maybe name and label won't be there, but it will be value or text will be there in your Android. So that's why even I want to make it as dynamic. Now I'll tell you how to utilize these three things and then utilize the scroll along with these three parameters to scroll till that element. Okay, so what I'm going to do first thing is that I need to first loop it, right? Now I need to loop actually this particular list, whatever it is there. And for this, definitely I need to take a while loop, because I don't know till when I need to really scroll, because this particular bottom is not known for me. Now here I know the zebra is my last element or the last name, but you're not sure. Let's say you are adding 5 different names and then after that you want to scroll. So maybe this zebra might not be your last one. So dynamically this list is updating when you are running your test cases. It means that we need to grab it or scroll down till the end actually. That is what we are going to do. How do we really scroll till the end? this is not static for us, right? There are two ways we can do that. One way, like the classic approach, is that you need to set the number of scrolls, okay, to find it out or to go till the last. See, even after end also, if you do scroll, nothing really happens, right? Some people say that no, what you can do, you can do this, you can get the last name or the last string of that, then you scroll, then get the last name and compare if these two are same or not. If it is not same, then you keep scrolling. Now when it is last, right, your string will be zebra. After that you scroll, nothing happens. It means that your updated list last name is also zebra. It means that your further scrolling doesn't really update your list. That is the end of the scroll. But it is bit tedious to do, like take a separate variable, assign it, then scroll, then get the updated list. So we don't really prefer that. Another approach is that you define the number of scrolls. It means that you try to see how much really the list is long actually. Maybe 10 scrolls, you can do a 10 scroll and after that you stop it if your element is not found. So you can give a retry count actually there, put a for loop, or maybe you can say that while retry count is less than 5, keep scrolling. Here you can, that count you can increase that. Even that is also valid. But the other approach is that you can get the page source actually, page source of this particular scroll actually. Like if you at this screen, if I get the page source, let's say X, now I'm scrolling, I am getting again the page source, which is not again remaining as X, right? It will become Y. Now X and Y, I want to compare it. If the Y is different, then it means that the new scroll is happening. Then I will scroll. Let's say that I came to the end. Now my previous scroll is X, previous page source which I got. Now this is also, I am scrolling further, nothing is happening. Now it means that this page scroll Y, let's say, now the previous scroll and previous page source and after scroll, whatever the page source I am getting, both are equal. Now when both are equal, then I don't need to scroll further. Now that is also one of the way we can do that. Now for this we need to write another method that is called as end of page actually. Now let me show you what exactly I need to keep into the end of page actually scroll. So I will be creating one method here, and the same way public or private, whatever, because this is only limited to this particular class only. So I will create public boolean and I will say is end of page, okay, end of page, and here I will be sharing or taking the page source. I will tell you where exactly we need to call this, and here I need to return it. Now I will say page source dot equals. Now when exactly you are coming end of the page, whenever the previous page source and the current page source is equal, right? That time you are coming towards the end of the page. Now I am simply taking equals, and here I will say app driver. How do you get the current page source? So you can say driver object dot get page source. It's a method actually into the driver. That's it. Now if this page source is not equal to your current page source, it will return as false. If both are equal, then it will return as true, and we will call is end of a page is true. Now that is what we are going to use in this while loop. Now in this while loop, what I'm going to do, I want to scroll or continue this loop till this end of page is not true actually. So it means that I will put a not condition, end of a page, and I will be sending the page source. Now from where I will be getting the page source? For the first time the page source is null. Let's say that string page source is null. I'm just creating an empty page source string actually here. While is end of a page, now for sure the page source is blank. This method is called, which is sending a blank page source string. Now it is taking that blank one, an empty. Now page source blank dot equals the current page source. Now current page source is holding something, right? It means that it is coming as false, this particular method. So false negation is true. While true, continue it. Now that is the way we need to do that. Now immediately when we are coming inside this, right, I need to take this and assign the current page source, right, because after this only I will be scrolling, where I will be getting a new page source. So app driver dot get driver dot get page source dot get page source, that's it. Now I can do the scroll operation here. Now how do I do the scroll operation? Let's say that I am trying to search for, let's say this something like this particular string. So I don't want to immediately scroll. First I need to check whether that element is present or not. It means that because I'm taking the list items, right, I need to first loop it first. Okay, so I will be taking web element of element, advanced for loop I'm using, app driver dot get driver dot find elements. Now here is something I will be taking that list items. Now here I will be explaining why I have taken the by instead of the list item, list of web elements. See, normally what happens when you scroll something, right, it gets updated the list. But when I'm sending this list, right, it will become static. After you scroll also, it doesn't really matter. The same string only will be coming. But when I'm scrolling and coming to this for loop, right, always it takes the fresh list of items. That is the difference, the way that you send the list of web element or by locator. That's why the by locators are very preferred to get the runtime objects. Fine. Now what I'm going to do, I will be checking something, right? What I'm checking on this element, I'm checking if this string is present or not, right? So simple concept, el dot, I will say get attribute. I will be now utilizing this facility of attribute name. It doesn't matter if you are using Android or iOS. Dot equals, ignore case, you can take what exactly? The text, right? What I want to match it. If it is present, you simply go and click on that, as simple as that. And then you want to come out of that loop because you don't want to really continue further, right? Because you reached out to your destination by scrolling. But let's say that you haven't got it here. Let's say that this if condition is false. Then what you need to do? After all the for loops are done with the current list, this list is done, then you want to further scroll it, right? So how do you know after coming out of this for loop, how will you know that you want to still need a scroll actually there? For that I will be setting up a flag actually here. Okay, so I will be setting a boolean flag. For first time I will be making it as a false, and here I will be checking if my flag, now here whenever the element you clicked, right, first thing is that you set it as a true. Okay, now here I am setting, see, this for loop, after this completion there are two cases. Either you found out and you clicked on that, or your flag is still stays as false. It means that if my flag is still true, it means that if I see, when you are breaking this, right, you are breaking from this for loop, you want to even break from this while loop, or else unnecessarily this loop will be running actually across, right? So that is why when the flag is true, you even come out of this particular while loop. Now that is what I'm going to do here. Now here I will be putting another break. Now this is come out of the while loop, and this is come out of the for loop. Now this is the difference between these two. Now let's say that your scroll, you came till the end of the page actually, end of the this one actually here, finding. See, this is for finding actually. This while is till when you want to scroll. That is the difference. Now if flag equal to true, it means that you clicked, you are done with everything, then come out of the while loop. But if you haven't find it out your particular whatever you want, then you need to do a scroll. Now scroll, okay, till what? Now scroll direction, again the same concept actually. Scroll, oops, not this, I will say scroll, that is actually into this util, right? So scroll, and inside this I will be writing scroll down, scroll down, and then I will be specifying the scroll ratio. Now the scroll ratio, let's say that I will be keeping this as a constant scroll ratio. So string, and I will say scroll underscore ratio equal to, let's say 0.5. Sorry, this is double, right? So I will put a double here, and I will be putting this as a static so that it can be accessed here, and I will be keeping this util dot scroll ratio. That's it. Okay. Oh, sorry, why am I doing double scrolling here? I mean double scroll method. It's simple. So now if my flag is still false in the sense I haven't found that element into this first list, then I need to scroll. See, now what happens, I will scroll a bit. Okay, this is my first scrolling happened. Now again I'm going into the beginning. Now end of the page source. What is the value of the page source? Before we have taken into the first while loop, let's say x. So now after you scroll, right, you get a different, like this was your first, you scrolled it. Now this statement is executed. Now what you need to do, you need to go to the second while loop. Now here you are checking each end of the page source. Which page source? This page source is before into the first loop we have already identified, that is nothing but this page source is now going into this particular method actually. Now let's come back here. This page source is my first page equals, after scrolling it is identifying on the runtime. By this time it is checking I have done one scroll. It means that I am getting a new set of the scroll. For sure these two are different, so I am not coming end of the page, so it means that it is fail. Now fail means it is true, negation of fail, so it will go to the second loop. Now while going to the second loop, this is my current page source. This is current page source, and this is always the updated page source, or you can say that this is my previous page source and this is my current page source. Like that way also you can do. Even you can go for this as previous page source. Okay, and you can simply copy this one everywhere. Previous in this sense, the previous looping actually this page source came. Like this it will be repeating continuously. Now let's say that you came till the end actually. Now what happens, you are coming here while each end of the page source, let's say before also it captured that only. Now after that it tried to scroll and nothing happened. Now it is going to here, okay, into this page source, this one, updated page source, this one only. Now it is actually here true. Now false of a true is false, so it means that while loop is false and you are coming out of the loop. Now nothing happened probably till the end of the page. If this particular for loop if condition did not satisfy, it means that you reach till the end of the page and you haven't found this element. That is how we are doing it. So two cases we are handling. One is we are checking on the list whether the element is present or not. If it is not present in that list, we are scrolling, but till what you need to scroll? Till my end of the page. If the end of page is done but there is no element found, nothing will happen, it will come out of the loop. As simple as that. Let's try two different ways actually here. Okay, so now here till this is scroll till, right? Now I can say scroll till and click the element because I am clicking also that element here. Okay, now I can say even scroll and click also. I can say scroll and click. Okay, fine then. Now let's come back to this contact application only, which we have seen this test case, right? Now I don't need to do an arbitrary scrolling actually here. I need to do a proper scrolling here. So in this case, what I'm going to do, I will say util, okay, dot scroll and click. I don't want to simply call this scroll actually. Now in this time, three things I need. One is the by list item, which I have shown into the Appium inspector, right? Here if you go here, I think that would have been gone now. Yeah, okay, it is present. So I will take this X path to get the entire list actually. So I will be sending here by dot X path, and inside this I will be specifying this one, and everything is done. Now the next parameter actually, now let's come back here. Now the next parameter, oops, sorry, let me put a tab here. Now the next parameter is what? I think attribute name right here, attribute name and text. What is the attribute name? Let's say that I want to take the name as my attribute name that I want to identify, and the string. Now let's say, let me go to the simulator, and here let's say that I told a trial, right? Now trial is my string actually here. Trial is my string and name is my attribute name, which I want to dynamically search, and everything else is done. So it will scroll till that element and it will click on that. Let's try that. So I'll close this. Let me go into the top actually here and then close this. Fine. Now let me run this test. And you can see the trial is now run actually. I mean, it clicked on the trial and then it closed the application. Now let's say that I want to take something which is not present actually here in this. Okay. So let me see that if any particular. Okay. So let me try to do something as instead of trial, let's say that a qavbox. I want to scroll till and this is not really present here actually. So let me see that whether the scroll is I mean till the scroll it will happen, but nothing it will do that. That is what we are going to see, and run this. And you can see it is keep on scrolling, that 50% ratio which we have given that. And it went to the end of the scroll. It will try one more time actually to check whether the previous page source and after the scroll page source is equal or not. And you can see now nothing gets changed, right? So that's nothing but is determining end of the page, and then it should close the app. As simple as that. Okay, and the same concept you can utilize for your Android scrolling also. Let me show you that. So for Android, I have the simulator ready. So if I come here, right, and let's go to the home screen, and you can use a different application if you don't want the contact. Let's say that the API demos application, and here you can go to the views, and here you can see there are a lot of options are there. So maybe you can try to click into these tabs actually for the first time. So like it will be keep on scrolling and it will check whether the tab is really matching or not, and then if it is matching it will click on that. If not, then it will come out of this loop. So for this, what you can use it, this list items, right? So you can find it out what is the common attribute or the XPath for this entire list. Then in that list you can come into a very, what do you call, inside that list you need to keep matching the text, whatever it is there. Maybe the string attribute name you can put it as a text, and this would be like anything up this, like tabs or something, tabs, text clock, text fields, something you can put it. There is another way also, like as I told, let's say that you don't know actually, it's not a list here. So let's say that it is not exactly a list, but something else is there. For an instance, let's say, I mean, let me go to here again. Let's say files tab you are keeping here. Now these are different things, right? This is a different element, this is a different element, and you want to scroll here. There is no list here. It is like only the elements only, right? This is a different types of element is there. In that case, this particular scroll method will not really work. That's where we are coming into this web element. So instead of this also, you can directly send the by locator here. So by, and you can say by element, and then you can what do you call, set up that by locator into your test. For an instance, let me come back here. Now the same while loop, for sure the while loop will not be changing here. You have to put that while loop here. So let me copy paste till this much. Okay, and I will come back here, is end of the page, don't worry about that. I will be keeping this page source. Now here what I'm going to do, I will put a try block here. Now in this try block I will be clicking that, I will be first identifying that get driver dot find element, and that by locator, okay, whatever the by element I'm taking, and then I will try to click it. Now let's say that for the first time, if it is not found into this, what happens? It will simply throw an exception, right? Now that exception I want to catch it actually here. Now that will be something actually, no such element exception will be coming there. So I will keep like this. Okay, if the no such element exception is coming, then I need to scroll that. So I will be keeping this one here. That's it, as simple as that. And till the end of the page it will scroll and it will try to click on that, and if it is not found, it will be keep on capturing. It won't really fail your test case because I'm keeping that into the try catch block. That is the beauty of that. So if a list item, see why this is important, you know, let's say that you want to fetch all the elements by scrolling down, like into your contact application, you want to capture everything by scrolling, then you cannot utilize this particular way, right? That's where actually this for loop will be essential for you. Now let's try to see whether this by element, if it is coming inside this and clicking on this or not. We'll do again a try, I mean in a positive and negative scenario. Now I won't be calling this one. Instead of that, we will be calling another one. Let me disable this one and I will say util dot scroll and click for sure. Now you can see there are a lot of different ways it is coming. You can even do a method overloading actually. So for an instance, you can do the same method, only you can name it here. It's just that the parameters will be different. So I will say scroll and click, but in this case I will be sending that by locator. So this by locator is this one, right? See here I don't want the list actually. So what I can do, I can go to this and here I will be keeping, I'll close it and I will be taking this one actually. Let's say that I want to go for this by locator here. So I'll say by dot xpath, okay, or I think I can directly take the name as well. So now in this name, let's say I want to go for trial only. So I'll say trial. Okay. So by name only directly I will take. Now this by dot name, right, is really evaluating inside this by driver dot element. On the runtime, it is evaluating. Let's try to see that. So I will be running this test. Okay. So it should scroll. So it is arbitrarily, it is scrolling and identifying whether the element is present or not. And you always need to see how much scroll is required. For now I have taken as 50%, but if it is too much of scrolling, then reduce that scroll ratio to maybe like 0.3 or 0.4. And now you can see it is identifying that trial. It should click on that. It shouldn't further scroll. And it clicked. That's fine, and it should close the application. Okay, so fair enough. Okay, fine then. Now you can see that. Now let's try to do something different, like as we did this negative scenario. It should scroll till the end, but it won't scroll anything. Now this is the end of the scroll, but Appium is not knowing, so it will give it a try another scroll because that text did not find that. And you can see nothing happened, and now it should be treating as the end of the page, and it closed. Nothing clicked here. So that is how. And as I told, you can even utilize this particular API demos into the views, and you can still do in the same way as we have done for the iOS. And let me know if you have any questions or any restrictions of doing that or any challenges. We will try to fix that. Okay, hope this session is helpful. In our upcoming sessions, we will see there are two more ways actually. Like these are very like this util whatever we have created, right? This scroll with the sequence and pointer input. These are like from the Appium standpoint, right? But the XQ test and UI Automator 2 have their own ways of scrolling as well. So even we can utilize those things also to scroll. So hope this session is useful. So stay tuned and do subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't. Thank you for watching.